The call came at 5:47 inches the morning on a Thursday. I was already up, sitting on the back porch of my cabin outside Bozeman, Montana, watching the sky turn pink over the Bridger Mountains. Sleep had become a stranger to me since the divorce. After 62 years on this earth, I had learned to stop fighting the things I could not change. My phone buzzed on the wooden table next to my coffee mug. Unknown number. Montana area code, but not one I recognized. I almost let it go to voicemail. Mr. Brennan, this is Dr. Catherine Oyalaran at Bozeman Health Deaconess Hospital. I am calling about your daughter, Lily. I sat up so fast I knocked the coffee over. My daughter, a word that had been forbidden to me for 4 years. What happened? Is she okay? Mr. Brennan, Lily was brought in last night with acute liver failure. She is stable for now, but she needs a transplant. Her mother provided us with your contact information. You are listed as her father on the birth certificate. We need to test you as a potential living donor. My ex-wife gave them my number. My ex-wife, who had spent 4 years telling our girls that I was a violent drunk who abandoned them. My ex-wife, who had taken everything in the divorce and then taken even more by poisoning my daughters against me. That woman needed my help now. I will be there in 20 minutes, I said. My name is Harold Brennan. People call me Hal. I am 62 years old, and I have lived more lives than most men get in a single lifetime. I spent 31 years as a diesel mechanic for the Burlington Northern Santa Fe Railroad, working out of the yard in Billings. Good, honest work. Hard on the body, but easy on the soul. I married my wife when I was 40, later than most. She was 32, a paralegal at a law firm downtown. Beautiful in a way that made me nervous every time she looked at me. We had twin daughters a year after the wedding. Lily and Rose. Identical in every way except their personalities. Lily was fire, always pushing boundaries, asking questions, demanding more. Rose was water, calm and steady, the one who smoothed things over when her sister went too far. I loved them both with everything I had. For 15 years, I thought we were happy. I thought we had built something solid, something that would last. I was wrong. The divorce came out of nowhere. One evening, I came home from a 12-hour shift to find my wife sitting at the kitchen table with a folder full of papers. I want out, she said. Just like that. No warning, no discussion, no chance to fix whatever was broken. I asked her why. She said I was boring, said I was old and set in my ways, and she wanted more from life than what I could give her. The girls were 14, old enough to understand what was happening, but too young to have any say in it. My wife had money. Her family had money. Old Billings money from cattle ranching 3 generations back. I had my railroad pension and a small savings account. When she hired the most expensive divorce attorney in Yellowstone County, I knew I was in trouble. The custody hearing was a nightmare. Her lawyer painted me as an absent father, always working, never home for the important moments. They brought up a DUI I had gotten 20 years before I even met my wife. They twisted everything. My long hours became neglect. My quiet nature became emotional unavailability. The hunting rifle I kept in a locked cabinet became evidence that I was dangerous. The judge gave her full custody. I got visitation every other weekend, supervised at first because of the alleged concerns about my temperament. I showed up for that first visit with my heart in my throat, desperate to see my girls. They would not look at me. Lily said I had ruined their lives. Rose just cried. My wife had gotten to them first. Whatever she told them, whatever poison she poured into their ears, it worked. The second visit, they refused to come out of their rooms. The third visit, my wife called the police and said I was harassing them. I was not. I was standing on the sidewalk, legally, during my court-appointed time, but the officers asked me to leave anyway. Keep the peace, they said. I stopped fighting after that. Not because I did not love my girls, but because every time I tried to see them, it made things worse. My wife filed a restraining order based on fabricated threats I never made. The court believed her. I lost my visitation rights entirely. I moved to Montana because I could not stand being in the same city as them, knowing they were 15 minutes away and completely unreachable. I bought a small cabin outside Bozeman, took early retirement, and tried to build something resembling a life. For 4 years, I woke up every morning wondering if my daughters even remembered me. Then Lily got sick, and suddenly I existed again. The hospital was cold and bright and smelled like disinfectant and fear. I found the transplant unit on the 3rd floor and gave my name to the nurse at the station. She looked at her computer, then at me, then back at the computer. "Mr. Brennan, doctor, Oyelaran will be with you shortly. There is someone waiting for you in the family consultation room." She pointed down the hall. I knew who it would be before I opened the door. My ex-wife was standing by the window, arms crossed, staring out at the parking lot. She had aged in the 4 years since I had seen her. The lines around her eyes were deeper, and her hair had more gray than I remembered. She turned when I walked in. "Harold." I did not respond. I just looked at her and waited. "Thank you for coming." She said it like she was thanking a stranger for holding a door open. "Where is Lily?" "ICU. She is sedated. The liver failure is from acetaminophen toxicity. She took too many painkillers after a soccer injury. It built up in her system over weeks. Nobody noticed until it was almost too late." I felt sick. My daughter had been slowly poisoning herself, and I had not been there to see the signs. And Rose? With my mother. She wanted to be here, but I thought it would be too much. You thought. I could not keep the bitterness out of my voice. You thought. Like you thought the girls did not need their father. Like you thought I was dangerous. Like you thought lying to a judge was acceptable. She flinched. "Harold, this is not the time." "You are right. This is not the time. Where do I go for the testing?" She told me. 2nd floor, the Transplant Evaluation Center. I left without another word. The testing took most of the morning. Blood draws, medical history, physical examination. They explained that living liver donation was possible because the liver regenerates. If I was compatible, they would take a portion of my liver and give it to Lily. Both of us would recover fully within a few months. I did not care about the risks. I did not care about the recovery time. I just wanted to save my daughter. Dr. Oyelaran was a tall woman with kind eyes and a calm presence. She walked me through everything step by step, never rushing, never dismissing my questions. "We should have preliminary results in a few hours," she said. "If you are compatible, we will move quickly. Lily does not have much time." "Whatever she needs," I said. "I will give her whatever she needs." She nodded and left me in the waiting room. I sat there for 3 hours, did not eat, did not read, just sat and thought about Lily, about Rose, about all the birthdays and graduations and ordinary Tuesday evenings I had missed. When Dr. Oyelaran came back, she was not alone. 2 other doctors were with her, a man and a woman, both wearing expressions I could not read. "Mr. Brennan, could you come with us, please?" They led me to a small conference room. The man introduced himself as Dr. Marcus Webb, head of hepatology. The woman was Dr. Priya Deshmukh, a geneticist. A geneticist. I did not understand why a geneticist would be involved in a liver transplant evaluation. "Please sit down, Mr. Brennan." I sat. My heart was beating so hard I could feel it in my temples. "Mr. Brennan," Dr. Oyelaran began slowly, "we ran your compatibility tests 3 times. We checked for laboratory errors, sample contamination, anything that might explain the results." "What do you mean? Am I not a match?" The 3 doctors looked at each other. It was Dr. Deshmukh who spoke next. "Mr. Brennan, the tests show that you are not biologically related to Lily." The words did not make sense. I heard them, but they would not arrange themselves into meaning. "That is impossible. She is my daughter. She and Rose are twins. I was there when they were born. I cut the umbilical cords. I held them before anyone else did." "I understand this is difficult to hear," Dr. Webb said, "but the genetic markers are conclusive. You share no DNA with Lily." I grabbed the edge of the table. The room was tilting. Then the tests are wrong. Run them again. We ran them 3 times, Dr. O'Yeleron said gently. There is no error. Dr. Deschmuk leaned forward. Mr. Brennan, based on the genetic analysis, we believe you would also not match with Rose. The markers indicate that neither twin is your biological child. I could not breathe. 18 years. 18 years of loving those girls, of teaching them to ride bikes and helping with homework and staying up all night when they were sick. 18 years of believing I was their father, and none of it was real. There is more, Dr. Deschmuk said carefully. The genetic analysis revealed something unusual. Lily and Rose are identical twins. They share the same biological father. But that father is not you. I stared at her. Then who is it? We do not know. That would require testing other potential individuals. Dr. Oyelaran's voice was soft. Mr. Brennan, I am so sorry. I cannot imagine what you must be feeling right now. I could not speak, could not think, could not do anything except stare at the table and try to understand how everything I believed about my life had just been erased. I found my ex-wife in the hospital cafeteria. She was sitting alone, stirring a cup of tea she was not drinking. She looked up when I approached, and I saw in her face that she already knew. Someone had told her, the doctors probably. Harold, sit down, I said. She sat. I sat across from her. My hands were shaking, but my voice was steady. 18 years. You lied to me for 18 years. She closed her eyes. I wanted to tell you. I tried so many times. Who is he? She shook her head. It does not matter now. It matters because he might be able to save Lily's life. It matters because you let me believe I was their father for almost 2 decades. It matters because I lost everything in the divorce and the whole time I was not even their real father. Her eyes snapped open. You were their real father. You are their real father. Biology does not change that. Do not, I said. Do not you dare try to turn this into something noble. You committed fraud. You lied to me, to the courts, to everyone. Who is he? She was quiet for a long moment. Then she said a name. Mitchell Crane. The name hit me like a physical blow. Mitchell Crane, my ex-wife's former boss at the law firm. The partner who had mentored her, promoted her, taken her to conferences in cities I could not afford to visit. I had met him at company Christmas parties. Shook his hand, thanked him for being so supportive of my wife's career. Mitchell Crane, I repeated. The lawyer. Yes. When? She looked away. Before we were married. It was just once. A conference in Seattle. I was drunk and lonely and he was charming and I made a mistake. A mistake, I said. You got pregnant by another man and passed his children off as mine for 18 years. That is not a mistake. That is a choice you made every single day. I know. I know it was wrong. Then why? Why did you do it? Because I loved you. She was crying now. Because by the time I found out I was pregnant, Mitchell was already engaged to someone else. Because you were kind and steady and you wanted a family. Because I thought I could make it work. Because I was a coward. I stood up. I could not look at her anymore. Where is Mitchell Crane now? He is still at the firm. He is the managing partner now. She wiped her eyes. Harold, he does not know. About the girls. I never told him. Then you need to tell him today. Because our daughter is dying upstairs and I cannot save her. I walked out of the cafeteria. Made it to the stairwell before I broke down. Sat on the cold concrete steps and cried in a way I had not cried since my father died 30 years ago. Everything I had lost. Everything I had mourned. The wife who betrayed me. The daughters who were turned against me. The years of loneliness and regret. And none of it had been what I thought. The girls I raised were not mine. Had never been mine. But God help me, I still loved them. That was the worst part. Even knowing the truth, even knowing my ex-wife had built our entire life on a lie, I still loved Lily and Rose. Still wanted to see them graduate and get married and have children of their own. 18 years of being their father had created something that could not be undone by a lab report. Biology did not create that love. Time did. Presence did. All those ordinary moments, all those small sacrifices, all those nights spent worrying about their futures. That was what made me their father. And no DNA test could take that away. Mitchell Crane came to the hospital the next day. My ex-wife had called him, told him everything. He showed up looking like what he was. A wealthy, successful man in his mid-60s who had just learned he had 2 daughters he never knew existed. He was tall, with silver hair and the kind of confident bearing that comes from a lifetime of people deferring to you. I hated him immediately. Not for what he did with my wife. That was her choice as much as his. I hated him because he had lived the last 18 years without sacrifice, without sleepless nights, without any of the weight that comes with raising children. And now he might get to be the hero. The testing took 2 hours. We waited in separate areas of the hospital. I did not want to be in the same room as him. I did not want to look at his face and see my daughter's eyes looking back at me. Dr. Oyalaran delivered the results to both of us together. Mr. Crane, you are a compatible donor. We can proceed with the transplant if you consent. Mitchell nodded slowly. He looked shaken, like the reality of the situation was finally sinking in. What does the procedure involve? Dr. Oyalaran explained. The surgery would take 6 to 8 hours. They would remove approximately 40% of his liver. Recovery would take 2 to 3 months. There were risks, as with any major surgery, but the success rate was high. I need to think about it, Mitchell said. I stared at him. You need to think about it. She is your daughter. She is dying. I just found out I have children, Mitchell said. You cannot expect me to agree to major surgery in the span of 24 hours. I stood up. For 18 years, I did not think about it. I just showed up. Every day, I showed up. When they were sick, I was there. When they were scared, I was there. When they needed someone to put them first, I was there. You do not get to think about it. She is your child. Act like it. I walked out before I said something I would regret. But I heard later that he agreed. Maybe my words got through to him. Maybe it was guilt. Maybe he just realized that refusing to save his own daughter's life would destroy his reputation. I did not care about his reasons. I only cared that Lily would live. The transplant happened 3 days later. Mitchell Crane donated a portion of his liver. Lily received it. The surgery went smoothly, and within a week, there were signs that her body was accepting the new organ. My daughter was going to survive. I visited her every day during her recovery. My ex-wife did not try to stop me. She could not, really. The entire foundation of her legal case against me had been built on lies, and now those lies were unraveling. Lily did not know yet. About Mitchell, about the truth of her parentage. She was too weak for that conversation. But she knew I was there. Every day, sitting beside her bed, reading to her, talking to her, just being present. "Dad," she said one afternoon. Her voice was still weak, but her eyes were clear. "I thought you abandoned us." "I know, but I never stopped loving you. Not for one single day." She started crying. "Mom said you were dangerous, said you did not want us anymore, said we reminded you of her and that is why you left. None of that was true, Lily. I fought for you. I fought until the courts told me I could not fight anymore, and even then, I never stopped hoping that someday you would know the truth." She squeezed my hand. "I am sorry, Dad. I am so sorry I believed her. You were a child. You believed your mother. That is not something you need to apologize for." Rose came to the hospital the next day. She stood in the doorway of Lily's room, looking at me like she was seeing a ghost. "Dad? Hey, Rosie." She ran to me, threw her arms around me, and held on like she was afraid I would disappear. "I missed you so much," she sobbed. "I missed you too, sweetheart. Both of you, every single day. We stayed like that for a long time. The 3 of us, Together again after 4 years of separation. It was not forgiveness, not yet. There was too much lost time, too many wounds that needed healing. But it was a start. The truth about Mitchell Crane came out eventually. My ex-wife told the girls she had to. The medical records made it impossible to hide. Lily took it hard. She had nearly died, and now she was learning that the man who saved her life was a stranger she had never met, while the man she thought had abandoned her had actually been her father in every way that mattered. Rose was angry. Not at me, but at her mother. At the lies, the manipulation, the years of turned us against the one person who had actually showed up for us. Her words, not mine. Mitchell Crane disappeared after the surgery, went back to his life, his law firm, his reputation. He sent flowers to Lily's hospital room once. A generic card, something his secretary probably ordered. He did not visit. He did not call. He did not try to build a relationship with the daughters he had just discovered. That told me everything I needed to know about Mitchell Crane. He could donate part of his liver, but he could not donate his time. He could save Lily's life, but he could not be bothered to be part of it. The custody battle took 6 months. I hired a real lawyer this time. A woman named Sandra Reyes, who specialized in cases involving parental alienation and fraud. She was expensive, but I sold the cabin to pay for her. The case was strong. My ex-wife had committed paternity fraud, perjured herself in the original divorce proceedings, violated custody agreements, and systematically destroyed my relationship with my daughters. The medical records from Lily's treatment proved I was not the biological father, which meant my ex-wife had lied under oath about our family circumstances. The girls were 17 by then, old enough to have their voices heard. They both testified that they wanted to live with me. They both described the lies their mother had told them. They both asked the judge to give them back the father they had lost. The judge granted me full custody. The same arrangement she had fought to impose on me 4 years earlier. I did not feel triumphant. I just felt tired. Tired and grateful and ready to start rebuilding what had been broken. We moved back to Montana. The girls finished their senior year at a high school in Bozeman. Lily recovered fully from the transplant. Rose got a scholarship to Montana State. They are 19 now, living in a small apartment near campus, figuring out who they want to be. They come to my cabin every Sunday for dinner. We cook together, talk about their classes, argue about movies and music and politics, normal family stuff. The kind of ordinary moments I missed for 4 years and will never take for granted again. My ex-wife is still in Billings. She sends the girls birthday cards, and they respond politely but briefly. The relationship may heal someday, or it may not. That is not my decision to make. Mitchell Crane is still the managing partner at his firm. He has never reached out to Lily or Rose. They do not seem to mind. They said they have one father, and that is enough. I keep a photograph on my desk. It is from the girls' 5th birthday party. They are wearing matching princess dresses, holding slices of cake, grinning at the camera with frosting on their faces. I am in the background, slightly out of focus, but you can see I am smiling too. That photo was taken during the good years. Before the divorce, before the custody battle, before I learned that the girls I loved were not biologically mine. I used to look at it and feel grief for everything that was taken from me. Now I look at it and feel grateful. Grateful for those years. Grateful for the girls those babies became. Grateful that despite everything my ex-wife did, the bond I built with Lily and Rose survived. DNA does not make a family. Courts do not make a family. Showing up makes a family. Being there when it is hard and when it is easy and everything in between. I showed up for 18 years as their only father. I showed up for 4 years of exile, writing letters they never received, hoping they would someday understand. And when they were old enough to choose for themselves, they chose me. That is worth more than any blood test. That is worth more than any legal document. That is worth more than anything. So here is my question for you. What makes someone a parent? Is it biology? Is it a piece of paper? Or is it something deeper? something that cannot be measured in a laboratory or argued in a courtroom. I spent 4 years thinking I had lost my daughters forever. Turns out they were never really lost. They were just waiting for me to find my way back to them. I would love to hear your story. What does family mean to you? Who showed up for you when it mattered most? If this resonated with you, hit that like button. Share it with someone who needs to hear it. And if you want more stories like this, subscribe to the channel. We post new stories every week. Real people facing impossible situations and finding the strength to keep going. Turn on notifications so you do not miss a single one. Thank you for staying until the end. It means everything to me. I will see you in the next one.